there. He, he ignited this local union back together, and every day it's he eats, sleeps, and works this whole thing. So when I was asked to present this award to Mike, I was truly honored because I'm honored to serve next to this gentleman. I know he has everybody's interest best at heart, and Mike, you're a truly great individual, man. You show your selflessness and your admirability and your integrity every single day, man. You're really doing big things for this local union in the Philadelphia building trades. I want you to keep it up, and we're all behind you. And again, I'm honored to give you this award. Keep up the good work, brother. I love you.
Hey, hi, how's everybody doing? Good to see everybody here. That was a good introduction. I appreciate you, Angelo. We are brothers, and I love you as well. I got to thank Nicole and Philipposh for allowing me to have this platform to speak tonight. And Anthony and Angelo, Anthony Falla, along with Angelo, who's a part of this program with me. It doesn't run by itself. It's not a one-person machine. It's run by the members, and it's for the members, and that's a really important thing to keep in mind. I also got to thank my business manager, Bobby Heenan, who's been in the union for 70 plus years, who has an open mind to allow us to do these things as business agents, an open mind to listen to us and understand what's hurting the members and what we can do to help them. And he's been a big part of this too, by allowing me this opportunity to help and give back. Now, when we first
What the fuck? So, Mike, I don't know, your mic went out or something? Let's see.
Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you now.
Sorry. Okay. You got me?
Yes, we got you.
Okay. So when we started the program, it was said that if you go to a job and can't pass a drug test, go home. That was how we lived. And we needed to change that because people started dying from opioid addiction. So while the program started in the beginning with just drugs and alcohol, it has morphed into a program where now it involves suicide, mental illness, drug and alcohol awareness, PSTD on the job, and for veterans of the United States military. And said the name of the program that we put together in Texas that I was a part of is called "It's Time to Get Uncomfortable." Because like Ann said, it's an uncomfortable thing for a lot of people to talk about. So we need to be uncomfortable and talk about it. To start by being uncomfortable, I'll tell you right now that I am an addict and I suffer from mental illness. I'm not uncomfortable to talk about my situation anymore. I was in the past, I'm not today. We also decided when we put the program together that we needed to try to break the stigma that comes along with these diseases. We can't call people who are mentally ill, crazy or, out of their mind or insane. We can't treat people who are suicidal as outsiders and let them isolate themselves. We also can't call a drug addict or an alcoholic a junkie or a drunk. We need to change the stigma and understand that these are our union brothers and sisters, our sons, our daughters, our family, our uncles, our aunts, everybody we know, everybody I know, and most of the people I know in this world have somebody that is involved in one of these situations. So what we did was we decided that the easiest way to reach out to the members was to have a direct contact with the union to get them to ATAP. So the direct contact started with myself. I was the direct contact. So instead of a member calling the nurse or calling ATAP 1-800 number, they call me first, ask me questions. What's it going to be like? What should they look forward to? What do they need to do? And I talk them through it. The first thing I do when a member calls me is ask them what they did over the weekend. Because the best thing you can do is get somebody's mind off the minute that they're in right now and take them back to where they weren't feeling the way they are today. And then I bring them back in and get them into my circle. And it's so far it's worked. We've been able to help. Well, almost everybody has been helped with this program. I can't say we've won them all, but we have won almost all of them. It's the personal connection that the members feel. I'm almost a 30-year member. Every member knows who I am. They've been on jobs with me. They feel real comfortable calling me and asking me what's going on. And it affects them in a better way. You know, what we've done all through COVID, unfortunately, even though we started in 2019, we ran Zoom meetings bi-weekly all through COVID. That was how we dealt with it then. But we have a pinpoint program that we run for the members in each district. We have half the state of Pennsylvania and Delaware. We talk at every meeting about these situations and put it out there that you don't need to be uncomfortable talking about it. We have a support group for every union meeting at our union hall where anybody can come there and sit down with us and talk about any situation they're having out there, whether it be with their family, whether it be drugs and alcohol, whether it be suicide. We don't care. Just come in and talk to us. And recently, we put together hard hat stickers. The hard hat stickers has a QR code on it. When you put your phone up to the QR code, it comes up on a web page. The web page has every single number you would ever need for any crisis you were involved in your life. It also has every AA and NA meeting in PA, New Jersey, Al-Anon, and Alateen. This has also led my business manager to open a medical facility in the union hall that's free to members. We now have a fully staffed medical facility with a doctor that treats our members for free, no copays. Prescriptions are free and everything else. This has all led to that. So in closing, I just want to remind everybody, while this is a great award and I appreciate it very much, we all need to remember that we never know what anybody else is going through, what's going on in their lives, and how they feel from a day to a day. And we have to treat everybody with respect and kindness and get them in with us and on our team. Because in the end, belonging to the Philadelphia Building Trades, Philipposh, and everything else we belong to, we're all brothers and sisters that need to lift each other up in the end and have each other's back, or this will never work. So thank you for giving me opportunity. I know I took up more than 3 minutes, but you put me on a platform I needed to use. So thank you so much. I appreciate you guys.
All right, first of all, good evening, everybody. I first want to thank Philipposh and Nicole Fuller for today's award night. I'm honored and privileged after being in this organization for 32 years to be able to present Traci Goldstein and Lowe, who comprise of our health and safety awareness educators for the Laborers District Council Benefits Fund, the Outstanding Health and Safety Program Award. They are both deserving of such an award for their efforts in dedicating themselves to the cause of educating our members through various activities and events. And when I tell you they put in a lot of hours, they put in a lot of hours. We're talking nights, Saturdays, Sundays, it does not matter. They're just an amazing pair. The hours that they put in is a testament to their desire to bring attention to various issues that affect our members, such as exercise and fitness, food and diets, and most importantly, in today's world, mental wellness. We overlook how this trade is so physically demanding to our members, and they remind us how to take care of our mind and our body throughout our career. They visit job sites to give members much needed supplies during the summer and winter months, as well as all the events that they're involved in to raise money for various charities, bike races. We actually had a competition where we was competing in the rowboats along the Schuylkill, and the laborers won the gold medal that year, so awesome. Especially during this COVID era we currently live in, they provide many virtual programs for our members as well. I could talk for a long time about what they mean to our organization, and it was a heartfelt reason why I nominated them. I think they go above and beyond everything they do. So without further ado, here are Traci Goldstein and Lowe, your 2021 Philipposh Outstanding Health and Safety Program recipients.
Thank you so much, Mr. Hernandez. Thank you for your support and your encouragement. I'm very honored to be here. I want to thank God for being here, and I'm glad and happy to see everyone. I want to just bless everyone that's here, bless all of the friends and family who lost people to COVID-19 in 2020. I also want to thank Ms. Fuller, Ms. Jameson, and the Philipposh organization for giving me and my partner this prestigious award. It is certainly an honor. In every program, activity, and workshop we develop, our members always come first. Lastly, but absolutely not least, I want to thank my dad, Daniel Woodall Jr. He's now retired. I want to thank our business managers, Mr. Esteban Vera, Mr. Sam State Jr., Mr. Ryan Boyer, and Mr. Harper Jr., our administrator, Alan Parham, and our wellness champions who are an extension of our team, Travis Lively of 57, Terrell Jenkins of 332, and Mark Freeman of Local 413. I want to thank Miss Tony Staten, Director of Lesson, and all of the Friends of Labor that help support us in our programs. We could not do that without the team that supports me and Ann, and everyone is so gracious and willing to help. And we've raised, as Mr. Parham said, so much money to help and bring awareness to the horrible diseases and illnesses that plague our communities. Regardless of race, religion, creed, we're all brothers. We all support one another, and it's our job to uplift everyone and bring everyone together. But above all, I thank every single member of Labor's District Council of Philadelphia and vicinity. You are absolutely the reason why we are all here. So thank you very much. Where's my partner?
Your partner is right here. Hello, everyone.
Hey!
How you doing? I'm Angelic Lowe. I'm the Health and Safety Awareness educator for the Labor District Council. I would like to first say I am deeply honored and grateful to have been chosen for the Leadership and Health and Safety Award. I would like to thank Philippash for its recognition. As a health and safety awareness educator for the Labor District Council Benefit Fund, I would like to continue to be dedicated to serve our members and our families and focus on the program, including educating the health and wellness of children and families as it is related to nutrition, exercise, stress management, mental health awareness, and all aspects of safety. I will continue to assist and conduct research to projects to improve the health and wellness of our laborers and our family. I would like to give a special thanks first to my parents, because when I do hold them long nights, they're there to help me. I also would like to give a special thanks to my rock, my husband, Randy Lowe, and my children. I would like to thank all the trustees, Mr. Esteban Ver Jr. from Local 57, Mr. Samuel Staten Jr. from Local 332, Mr. James Harper Jr. for Local 413, and Mr. Ryan Boyer Sr. from Labor District Council. I would like to also thank Mr. Alan Parham, the administrator of all Labor District Council funds, and Mr. Hernandez. Thank you, thank you, thank you. He's the executive training director of the training center. I also would like to thank the champions, Terrell Jenkins from Local 332, to Travis Lively from Local 57, and also Mark Freeman from Local 413. I also would like to thank Tony Staten from Lesset. Thank you. She give us shout outs on the radio every week, promoting our events. Thank you. And I cannot forget my partner, Traci Goldstein. Thank you for being a team player. Thank you.
So thank you, folks. Can everybody hear me now?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, so thank God I have a phone nearby because my computer pretty much locked up and I didn't want to do anything because I would have lost you all. So I was trying to do sign language and scream for help. So
I was trying to do read my lips, Nicole. You did good though.
and thank you for Angel for doing that. And just so everybody knows, Angel is a dear friend of mine. And we spent many a day at high school career fairs, talking about everything from cooking to construction. So I appreciate you, Angel. Thank you very much. And congratulations to Angelic and Traci again. So now that I have volume, I'm going to introduce the next presenter, who is also a dear friend of mine and the former director of Philippi, Miss Barbara Rocky. And Barbara will present the next two awards. So Barbara.
Hello, welcome everyone. It's so great to see such a diverse and excited crowd joining us tonight. When I was still director at Philippi, I was talking one day to our staff and about the calls we were getting, which increasingly seemed to be coming from restaurant workers. And Natalia Nicastro said, yes, absolutely. And then she pulled in Nadia Hefka from Community Legal Services because they were being bombarded with calls from restaurant workers. And they put their heads together, found funding, and the result of it was this amazing organization, CRUSH, the Coalition for Restaurant Safety and Health. They have continued to grow, have pulled in a large advisory group of people, and have been proactively, even during COVID, with the shutdowns of so many restaurants, they continued to prevail and built this organization that is worker-led in the hospitality and food service industry, enabling workers to be empowered to act collectively to change workplaces that patrons and allies are engaged in supporting, calling out the incredibly toxic behavior that hospitality and restaurant workers have to deal with every day. So it is only appropriate that CRUSH would get this award. Their work needs to be better known. We all go to restaurants, and you should be talking about CRUSH wherever you go to eat, because it's all about building worker power. And so with that, I want to turn this over to Philippi staffer, Natalia Nicastro, to accept the award on behalf of CRUSH and to tell us a little bit more about their important work.
Thank you. Yeah, I have a lot of, I'm happy that here I am with Nadia receiving this award today. I'm very emotional. Yes, so I think Nadia is going to have to talk today for me.
We're seeing her heart on her sleeve.
I'll start, and then we'll see if Natalia can join in. Natalia is one of three amazing people that now work for CRUSH since we got it started a few years ago. We started it before the Me Too movement, but we knew from talking to workers that the legal system alone is not sufficient to stop sexual harassment, and treating it as a legal problem only was not solving things for workplaces. So we came up with a way to do better, we think, and a different model where we involve workers. It's a workers' rights issue, it's a health and safety issue, and workers need to be involved in the solutions in their workplaces. And we focused on restaurants because this is where it happens the most, for a variety of reasons. I would be glad to discuss with you all if you're interested, but there's sometimes alcohol, there's normalization because everyone's been through it at restaurants, working for tips, and you can get it, unlike in most workplaces where you get sexually harassed by bosses or coworkers, here it's also patrons and customers, and that's what's normalized. So there's a lot of work to do to change workplace culture. There's a lot to do to change the really awful way that management side lawyers do really bad trainings. Our trainings are prevention focused and trauma informed, and we'd love to talk to everyone here more if you want to hear about our project, best practices to support workers, to center their experiences, and get workers involved in supporting each other in a workplace problem before it gets too far. So Natalia has been an amazing leader of this work. in terms of the last year, the work she's been doing in the Latino community in particular and helping people survive this crisis. When restaurants shut down, a lot of immigrant workers did not qualify for unemployment or any other work safety nets, right? So Natalia jumped into action and worked with others to support workers, formed El Comité, where they were scrambling to sell food and support families, and turn that into an organizing opportunity with workers to talk about what was going on in their workplaces, lack of childcare that prevented moms from returning to work this summer when others were returning to work. So, you know, all of the work that Natalia has done, I encourage you all to reach out to us if you want to discuss how this might relate to work that you do, because we're all in this fight together to try to change this issue. And we know it impacts women more, but not exclusively. We know that it impacts people of color more, but not exclusively either. And that's it. Like, everyone is harmed when there's a workplace problem like sexual harassment or other kinds of problems. But we've been doing a lot of work around paid sick leave and other things throughout this pandemic. That's why we're the Coalition for Restaurant Safety and Health. Shout out to Philipposh for basically incubating this project, and for the incredible gift that is Natalia Nicastro. We have two other amazing staffers who do a lot of training, and a lot of, we work with, I should shout out the folks like Women Against Abuse and Unite Here and others that work with us as well, because this is a true joint project. Natalia, do you want to say something? I will stop talking now because this is your work.
No, I just wanted to kind of like say thank you, you know, to kind of like all the people that are behind, you know, that are not here, but like Pretty Pathak doing our trainings, and Sarah Myers now kind of like doing communications, and Bethany Holmes, who helps so much from Unite Here with strategy, and Maggie Cedar from Women in Transition, and Philipposh with Andrew and Nicole, you know, and Barbara Raki, you know, have been very supportive and, you know, kind of like pushing this work to happen, being open to what it means and the shape it takes. And I'm very, very grateful for that. And also, I cannot say. But yeah, I'm gonna keep it there. I'm very thankful for my family.
We love you, Natalia.
Thank you.
Natalia gives her heart and soul to this work, and workers feel that, and workers are inspired by her. In fact, everyone that works on this project has worked in the hospitality business as well, including me. It's an inspiration to see how much this tiny project that struggles for funding has been able to accomplish through COVID, and doing new things and doing more things than ever thought possible, probably too much. So reminder to everyone to take the breaks that you need.
Okay, I think we are going to then move on to our last award being given out tonight. Can everyone hear me?
Yes.
Okay. I would say a couple of years ago, we were all at the National Kosh conference that was being held in Baltimore. And coincidentally, we had a then Philadelphia Inquirer reporter who was part of the reporters panel that we'd put together. And we, as always, had amazing presentations from health and safety leaders. That year it included, as it always did, Celeste Monforten, and who was at George Washington University, maybe had already moved to Texas. And I was there, and I introduced them and said, you two both think alike and you do the same thing and you should get together. Little did I know that they would write a book together, which is what happened on the job. Just an amazing saga. So since you're both here, they worked on putting a few questions together that will help, I think, begin this discussion. The book On the Job is a story about worker centers in Texas. And so, and more we're hearing about worker centers as an alternative form of worker organization. So how are worker centers like unions? Since most of us come from a union background, how are they allied with each other? Either one of you, I'm addressing this as a general question.
Jane, why don't you go first? You're on mute, Jane.
Everyone's grateful for that when I'm on mute. But first of all, I just want to say it's so wonderful to see so many of the people that I covered for so long at the Inquirer. I mean, so many of these faces and names are familiar to me, and it's just wonderful to see you. And thank you, Philippash, for honoring Celeste and me this way. It's really meaningful to get like an honor in your own hometown. So I'm just really grateful for that. So in answer to the question, it's the entire labor movement, and Crush is a worker center. So we just saw a great example of one. It's the entire labor movement. You go from two people on the job complaining about their work and then taking an action together to go to their boss. That's the labor movement. And you have a general strike in Paris that knocks out the entire transit system and all. That's the labor movement. And worker centers are on that continuum. And so that's the relationship with unions. Many times they cooperate, sometimes they don't. It depends on the individual situation and what's going on. But they're all part of the labor movement, and typically worker centers will represent people that can't really be represented by unions because of the nature of their employment. For example, people in a temp agency who like on Monday are working for company A and then Tuesday company B, and then the first thing you know that the temp agency is closed and they're shafted on their wages. Or the Home Depot construction laborers, day laborers, housekeepers. These are the kind of people we met. Dairy hands who are often represented by worker centers, and not in a collective bargaining kind of way, but more in a public policy kind of way, advocating for like paid sick leave. Did I do that in one breath? I don't know if I did or
yes,
but anyway,
yes.
So that's the story there.
And I'll just add something. Well, first I have to thank Barbara Rocky and also Jim Moran, the late great Jim Moran, because it really was Barbara that nudged me to go and meet Jane. And I knew of Jane because of her coverage at the Inquirer, and she would often cover Worker Memorial Day. And so thank you so much to Jane, to Barbara for introducing me to Jane. Our book actually features worker centers in 8 different states, and we cover 11 different worker centers. And, when I think of the labor movement and I hear this word, our brothers and sisters, and that you work together, whether the problem is opioid addiction or fundamental safety issues or wages or sexual harassment, standing up for your rights. That's what worker centers are about. And you have some of the most vulnerable workers in our country, immigrant workers, low-wage workers, people who are not authorized to be here in the US, but still are protected by the same labor laws that everyone else is. And they often don't know that, and they're taken advantage of. And through worker centers, they not only learn about their rights, but they develop the leadership skills to actually take action. And unlike taking action against a particular employer for the purpose of hopefully getting a collective bargaining agreement, they often are trying to take on policy issues. And they do that very often in concert with organized labor. So whether it is developing a state law that gives temp workers particular rights, whether it's something like increasing the minimum wage or paid sick leave, rights for domestic workers. Those are all the same causes that organized labor has fought for forever and ever. Working people coming together, feeling a sense of community and not being isolated in their problems at work. So we view this as all just part of the worker movement.
Celeste, just to give a specific example of that, most people know I was a union organizer with United Auto Workers for many years, and I was in upstate New York organizing and ended up being around a lot of dairy workers, a lot of poultry workers who had unbelievable health and safety issues, but had no avenue around which to organize for those issues. And I'm organizing the workers who could be in a union, but we were always getting calls from those who couldn't, but whose health and safety issues were horrible. Have you experienced that in your work?
Yeah, absolutely. And we have a chapter in the book that features interfaith worker justice and an amazing woman named Kim Bobo. And her vision, along with some other faith leaders, was to try to address this problem of workers who needed help but were not members of labor unions, and labor was trying to help them, but it's like, we have our own members, we only have so many resources. So there is an analogy there to what you're describing, Barbara. It is the role of workers themselves who learn about their rights that then are sharing with other workers and trying to pull other workers into a worker center to learn more, to become part of a more educated community of workers. In some cultures, labor unions are not something that is necessarily looked favorably upon because of, abuses. I'm particularly thinking about Mexico and Central America, but probably in other places as well. So it's really trying to find alternative avenues for workers to realize the power of collective action. Because we do talk about, and we have chapters about dairy workers in the book, Jane and her husband actually traveled up to Central New York, and she can talk to you about the knocking on doors in the cold winter, trying to organize workers in the trailers that they lived in.
And it was really cold. And the one advantage, I guess, of organizing dairy workers versus other farm workers is they do stay put, just like the cows do. And so it was interesting that was a fruitful place to organize, but they definitely needed help. I mean, we learned about, this was stunning to me, in some farms, these dairy hands are working 4 hours on and 4 hours off. And that means there's never a full night's sleep. Mm-hmm. And then the other thing that was astounding was, now, of course, we're city people, all right? So what do we know? But anyway, we're learning about like the manure and the piles of this feed. It's called silage. It gets slippery in the ice, and there's many, and the cows, they're 1,000 pounds, and they push into the workers. So it's a dangerous job. And the thing is, when these workers get injured, the farmers don't tell them, oh, say that this happened to you when you were on your off time, because they don't want their workers' comp insurance to go up. So they try to keep them from getting care. So they're getting injured, whatever happens to them on the job, they're reluctant to take them to the hospital, and they're reluctant to get them the care because of that reason. So those were the kinds of things we saw from the dairy hands. And then from the poultry workers, it's an ergonomic nightmare, because the poultry line comes by, the assembly line comes by so fast, and they're pulling these chickens down or up, and they're chopping their limbs off and their knives aren't necessarily sharp, and there's chemicals. So there's many multiple safety and health issues that they experience on the job and that they need help with, and the worker centers help them.
I think it's so important, because even those of us who've spent our whole adult life in organized labor, with unions, organizing workers, there's this whole other world out there that's really shut out of the benefits we've been able to get and fight for. And your book, again, I just want to remind people, On the Job, it's amazing because it tells the stories that we don't know, and they're really important. And I think it's such an important book, and I hope everyone will search it out and get it. I couldn't put it down once I started reading it, and I mean that sincerely. I think, is there any last minute? I think we're sort of at the end of our timeline here. Do either one of you have a last thing you want to say? No? So, okay.
Well, I'll just add one thing. One of the reasons why that I wanted to write the book is it was a very dark time when President Trump came into office, and so many attacks on organized labor. And it was, for all of us, it was just so depressing. But I was hearing about these small organizations in St. Cloud, Minnesota, and Bryan, Texas, and Grayton, California, where workers, most of whom do not speak English, were coming together to claim their power and to make demands so that they have safe workplaces, that they are paid the wages that they are deserved, and they're seeking dignity and health. And that is all about what all of you do. I heard these amazing stories about the work that all of you are engaged in, and so deserving of your awards. And Jane and I just wanted to capture this moment in the labor movement, and hope very much that all of you will pull together, you continue doing your work, and pull in these other groups like Crush and worker centers, because we're stronger together.
Thank you.
Isn't Celeste awesome? Can you believe it? She's the greatest. I'm so happy. Thank you, Barbara.
Yes.
Thank you so much, Barbara.
You know what, Barbara, one of the things, Jane, when our book came out and we got our package of, I think we each got 10 each or something, and Jane sent me the most beautiful bouquet of flowers, and she said, and it was all because of you, Barbara, because you introduced us. She said, not only did we get it a book, but I made a friend. And that is so true. And I think Jane represents that city of brotherly and sisterly love.
Well, and let me also say a shout out to National Caution, the National Worker Health and Safety Movement, because it brings all kinds of people together around health and safety, but around the bigger agenda as well. So, it's been a good thing.
Yep.
So.
And I will say that if any of you want to have an event, have Jane and I come, we're happy to talk to members, happy to, get challenged about what's going on in the labor movement. We would relish the opportunity to do that.
Great. Okay. Thank you.
Thank you. Yeah, and I want to thank Barbara and both you, Celeste and Jane, for joining us today. Congratulations on the book. I actually have a copy in our office. So somebody's going to have to sign it as soon as I can meet up with one of you. And thanks again, Barb. And I do apologize for my technical difficulties, but hey, we are workers and we figure it out. So before we sign off, though, I just want to remind folks on a couple of things. So for those that may have missed the information at the very beginning, there is a memorial and life celebration for Jim Moran. It's being held on Saturday, November 20th at the John F. Givnish Funeral Home. And that's at 10975 Academy Road in Philadelphia, 19154. There's a gathering from 10 until 10:30, and then time of sharing will be from 11:30 until 12:30. And I'm sure afterwards at some nearby watering hole, folks will meet. So just wanted to make sure everybody had that information. And lastly, we will have our first in-person event in 2 years. So Our Worker Memorial Day program is scheduled for Friday, April 22nd, 2023. So mark your calendars. Of course, you'll get plenty of information from me several 10, 12 times. But I just wanted to put that date out there so folks could put it on their calendars. Once again, congratulations to all of the honorees and the presenters. And thank you all for joining us. I don't mind doing this virtually, but I can't wait to see you guys and ladies in person. So you all have a great weekend. Thank you.
Thank you, Nicole. Thank you.
Bye.